Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Montre, and I'll be talking about the God consciousness of omnipotence and the collective consciousness of mankind.
Watching what I do, come walk in my shoes and see the way I'm living if you really want to. Got my mind on my money and I'm not going away. So keep on getting your paper and keep on climbing. Look in the mirror and keep on shining. Till the game ends, till the clock stops, we gon' post up on the top spot, living the life.
For one, I stated before that I don't totally believe that the God consciousness, or what we call God, is completely omnipotent. Actually, opposite of that, I believe that the God consciousness, or what we call God, is actually an ever-evolving, learning entity. I'm going to call it entity because I can't say that God is a male. If God is a male, then there has to be the opposite, which a goddess, which is a female. I'll talk about that later in another video, that if you have one, you have to have the other. In this state, I will believe that God is a consciousness or a completeness of itself, and that it can be genderless, but encompass everything at the same time. And my whole belief that the God consciousness is not completely omnipotent, as in not knowing all, but is learning all, as God is in process. God is ever evolving and learning through us. God splits itself up into smaller parts, like an atom splitting, and creates smaller consciousness to experience life, and through life learns through that. So every time someone dies, that consciousness of that person rejoins the greater collective consciousness, and thus teaches God something else about life. Thus, time, life evolves, and people become more accepting, or people as a whole grow as a new life is born. I believe that if this is the case, then the human consciousness, the human spirit, is pretty much the same thing as the God consciousness. That which we come from is God. That means that deep down in our core, we have a part of God. This what makes us sons and daughters, children of God. If this is the case, then this also means that once we die, then we become a part of the whole. And this also means that we are not separate spirits, but we are all just one spirit, divided into many parts, learning from our different point of views, and then coming back and collecting that information to make a educated experience. I say this much like how a tree is made. The branches are no more separate from the tree, or separate trees themselves. We are all but one branch of a very large tree. What we consider to be God is merely the unseen, the roots of the tree. What we consider to be the human consciousness is the trunk. That's what we can see, or what we feel. We feel that we're all connected by this human consciousness, the human spirit, which is the trunk of that tree. But underneath the unknown are the roots. And that root has its own existence, and it has branches of itself underneath those roots. Those little roots that branch out from the main root, we would call those angels or spirits, that which help us, which bring us nutrients, which bring us guidance. But the whole root itself is what keeps us planted here on earth, and that's what we would call God. In itself, the tree is no more separate from the roots than it is the branches. In itself, they're all the same thing. So, in a nutshell, God consciousness, human consciousness is all the same thing. One big piece. And we are just the branches learning. More so, our lives are more like the leaves, falling away, dying, being reborn. But yet and still, what we truly are is those branches and a part of the whole tree itself. So I don't feel separate from God. I feel like I'm one with God. And in itself, I am a part of God, and if not, God himself. And so are you. If that is too much for you to understand or too much for you to handle, then don't worry about it. Take your time. Anyways, this is Montre. Remember, if you don't do it, then who will? Peace out.